Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we are going to be finishing up my Cyberpunk themed build, and we are building inside Myshuno on the Casbah gallery lot. So Myshuno is the world that comes with city living, and in part 1 I did the arcade, or I built the exterior. I then finished up the arcade, a convenience store, a kind of like a toy shop, and then a tattoo parlor and a nightclub. So if you want to see part 1, I will link that up in the cards, and it should appear right now like in your top right hand of the screen, and then I'll also link it in the description. And before I get too far, please consider subscribing and also liking this video if you do enjoy my content and you would like to see more. And then in today's part, we're going to be building a gym and then 2 apartments. So the first apartment is like a studio loft apartment. It only has 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And then the second one is a bigger apartment, so it has 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. And so yes, I'm currently busy with the gym, but you see I did the front section, so I wanted to include like a juice bar, energy drink area, or where gym goers can kind of purchase products that the gym is providing. So I put a bar down there, and that area is going to change. Like the way that I have it right now, I do not like it at all. So I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you the changes that I'm going to make, and I think it looks so much better. You can let me know what you think about the finished product in this gym when I do eventually come down there. And then here we are busy with the first like section for the gym. So I kind of did it in sections with the equipment that we have in the game. It's currently like only 4 real gym equipment things. I mean, they gave us that weight rack in Lovestruck, and I will always have beef for that. But in the previews for that pack, or in the trailer for that pack, I remember there was a dating app photo, because that pack comes with a dating app. And one of the Sims was holding a weight. So we all thought that we are going to get functional weights. And no, that weight rack is only decoration. So really sad, but I guess it's good decoration for the gym. So I did use that everywhere. And so that first section was like the chest pressing area, I guess. And then the next part of the gym is going to be like a sparring, boxing area. I guess boxing can kind of be like cardio, or sparring can kind of be like cardio. So I guess that's this section. And so I'm going to use the boxing bags that we have in the base game. And also, I'm not sure if that one is from the base game, but I know we do have boxing bags in the base game. And then I'll also be using like the sparring equipment thing from Strangerville in this section. I think you can also use that to raise your fitness. So here I'm just creating a little shelf area where people can have their boxing gloves. This is like a fancier gym, I would say, because there are like towels provided, and I guess products and stuff, and you'll see the bathroom is like really fancy and so on. So, or not fancy, but it's a nice bathroom. So I would say that this is a really nice gym. And then what I'm doing right now is I just made like a pillar, like a structural pillar in the middle of this room, because I wanted to put these fighting equipment thingies from Strangerville against them, and also just wanted to create some separation in the room. I'm gonna place the spa day lights, yes, in between those columns as well. You're gonna see me do that in a minute. And then the vending machine that I placed behind, so I remember that vending machine came with the very first event that we got with the game. So the different event things that they're doing now, you can get like free, you do certain activities and then you get like free objects and stuff. So if you don't have that vending machine, or you didn't get that with the event, because I don't know if there's another way to get those objects unless you maybe add them as CC in your game. And I think if I remember correctly, that event was either extended or they did give us those objects for free. I can't remember, but if you don't have that object, you just have to replace that vending machine with a different one from a different pack, or with something else entirely. And then here, I just wanted to have some section where, you know, they can either place their shoes in, because I know some people prefer to work out without any shoes on. And then the balls that I placed in there is kind of like, in the gym, they have this really heavy balls that people throw on the ground as part of their routine. I don't know, I'm not really that much of a gym goer, so I kind of, that's what those balls are. And then the big horse ball that you saw me place down there is just for decoration, but I guess it's kind of like an exercise ball that they would use in the gym as well. And then here we are currently working on the bathroom. So this is a fancier gym, like I said. or I think I said it. I did record this part of the voiceover twice, so I'm not sure what I already said and what I may have said in a previous recording that I've now deleted. But this is the bathroom, nicer bathroom, and I included 2 showers, so you know that people can either shower after they work out or whatever. I know that some people go to the gym, then they go to work immediately afterwards. So I guess that was my idea here. If you have a sim that you go to the gym with, you know, and they're working in a few hours, then they can shower up here and go straight from here to work. And then just a sink area, because I also included the bathroom stalls, which you would have seen in the back. Those are the ones from businesses and hobbies. I prefer those ones over any other bathroom stall that we have in the game. I think it's a lot nicer than the other ones, because the other ones are kind of giving public restroom stalls, which is fine, but this one is just nicer, I guess, is what I'm saying. And then I also included lockers, because I know that, you know, gyms do have lockers, and I remember when I used to go to the gym, there was lockers there, so I included that here as well, I guess, for Sims to place their belongings in before they go and work out and so on. And then just a small bench, and I think that bench is from Spa Day. And then these mirrors that I used everywhere is from Spa Day as well. And then for the TVs over here, I did end up replacing those TVs with the one from the Party Essentials kit, which has the light around it. Something very important with Cyberpunk themed balls is neon lights. Just like lighting, I think, is the most important. So you'll actually see when you go into this build, it is quite dark, and that was intentional, and it's because I wanted the light and the light colors to show up more. So I did change all of the colors of the lights in this build. It's a big build, so that arguably took up a lot of time, because I had to change all of the light colors and so on. So if you download this, I'm not sure if that actually translates then when you download it from the gallery, if the light colors will all be the same and so on. But for most of the lights, I either went with dark blue, purple, pink, or light blue. That's the lights in this game. There is not really a normal light color in the game, or in this build, sorry, because I did want it to look that way. And so then in this second floor area, we have the treadmills, and then I also had this big space over here. And because of the limited equipment that we do have for fitness, I didn't want to repeat the chest press equipment again, and I also didn't want to have like just more treadmills, so I decided to have a yoga studio over here. Just put out a few mats and then put down some sports bottles. I feel like this gym would probably provide towels and sports bottles and stuff like that. And then later on, I'm going to come back in and also put down the weights rack in here as well. And then you would have seen that's kind of all for the gym, really. I think, yeah, no, I'm going to come back here and correct this section. I almost forgot, and I almost forgot about it in real time as well. I can't believe I was going to almost leave it like that, which would have been so out of character for me to leave it that way. But I just like seriously didn't know what to do with this front section. So I was playing around and I came up with this. So I decided to place those racks or those shelves from Spa Day. They kind of look like protein powder and different products that you would usually use, I guess, for the gym. And so I placed those in the 2 one-tile rooms that I created on the side. I just wanted to box out the area that has the sign at the back. And so I thought of creating these kind of like fridges. I don't know what to call them really. So I just put those in there. And then I used this paneling from Get Famous on the back wall. But as you can see, they kind of go at the back of the shelves as well. I didn't think it looked too bad, so I left it that way. And then the shelving at the bottom, I think that's also from Spa Day. I used a lot of Spa Day in this gym. It's actually a really nice pack for, I guess, gyms, because it kind of is not only catered for the spa part of that pack, but I do think it's catered for fitness as well. And then the sign that you saw there at the back is from Lovestruck. Yes, I don't know, why did we get so many gym things with Lovestruck? It's a little bit weird. I feel like that belonged to a different pack and they just threw it in Lovestruck. That's my feeling about it, because I just don't know where the gym thing comes in with Love Struck and what it is, you know. Maybe someone else can enlighten me, but I don't think it does fit in with Love Struck's pack. But anyways, so here at the back, I just included, I guess, more products that you could get from this gym. Also, I was gonna make this like a counter area, almost like a sign-in section, but that wouldn't have been functional. So I just felt like instead of not making it, because in the other stores as well, I have counter areas that are not functional. And so I felt like if you wanted to hire a barman to be here at the bar in the gym, then you could rather do that instead of having a cash register or a computer there and nobody standing there, you know? So that's why I decided to go with a bar instead of just a normal counter area. But yes, now I'm just coming in and placing down speakers and some more like bits and bobs just to, you know, liven it up a little bit. And there you see me place down the non-functional weight rack again, just in the yoga area, because I know, you know, maybe it's not only yoga that's being done in there, maybe it's Pilates, and I know in Pilates they use weights. Do they use yoga? I mean weights in yoga, I don't know, because I've never really done yoga before. And then I just placed on these ottomans. The one is from Life by Death, Death by Life. That's not the pack's name, but whatever that pack's name is. And then the other one was from the Cozy Kitsch kit, I think, that we got I think last year or earlier this year, whatever. So now we are in the first apartment, and this is the smaller studio loft-like apartment. And I'm gonna create the living room. Now, when I was doing this build, I really did not think that these apartments fit the cyberpunk theme. I was so confused. This is actually the second time that I built this apartment. And oh yes, that's the TV that I used in the gym that I replaced those other TVs with. I love this one. This one is from Party Essentials, and I basically just bought that kit for this TV. And so yes, when I was building and designing these apartments, I was like, they do not fit. I don't think that they're cyberpunk or like industrial. The cyberpunk is kind of like a futuristic industrial style of building or aesthetic, I would say, and it kind of draws on those techie elements and stuff, and I think it meshes it well with the industrial kind of elements, I guess. I don't know what I'm speaking about, but that is what cyberpunk is. And then yeah, so I was trying to bring that into the apartments, and I felt like I wasn't achieving that. But when I went in last night and I took the screenshots, I was like, wow, this actually does look really good. Like, I actually liked how it turned out so much. I was on the fence about it, and I was actually considering not even posting this part, but I don't want to leave anything incomplete on my channel because I just felt like I was not doing the apartments justice. But I can confirm that when I went in and took the screenshots, I was happy with how the apartments had turned out. So you can let me know if you think as well, if I did, you know, like a good job or whatever. I did mention in the first part that this way of decorating or the style is like out of my comfort zone a little bit. I wanted to challenge myself with building a cyberpunk themed kind of build, and I didn't know that I could really do it, but I think I didn't do too bad. And I would love to, you know, maybe like in a year's time build something like this again and see how much I improved or how differently I made it or whatever. So yes, that's kind of, you know, I guess what was holding me back with this build, but I think I did get it to a good place. And so yeah, I'm doing the kitchen. I went with black kitchens for both apartments, so they kind of look the same. And then what I really wanted in this apartment is a loft area. That was like a non-negotiable. I knew that when I was building the apartments, that was what I was gonna do. So that's what you saw me do now, because I wanted to see where I had to place the stairs. I had to move the stairs one tick over, kind of, because upstairs I didn't realize, but it was really narrow. So to get to the bed, they actually had to go up, and then to get from the bed to the computer, they had to go down the stairs and come back up again and go to the computer. And I just felt like that was impractical. So I moved the stairs one over. It doesn't really change much. And then here for the kitchen, to bring some color into it, I just changed the stools, but I wanted to keep the kitchen mainly black and stuff. And then I used a lot of the decorations again from the kitchen clutter kit. I am obsessed with that kit. I really do use it everywhere. And then for this walls, from what I've like noticed about Cyberpunk is there is not really a clean wall. And so I think that's what was kind of like where I was getting stuck, because I was having to use a lot of the same items over and over, because not everything is going to fit on a cyberpunk themed wall. So a lot of these posters that you saw here from city living, and then from high school years, and then the ones with like the boards and stuff is from Love Struck. I had to use them a lot over and over and over, and in different ways across the board, so that I could really, hit the theme. So at this point, I think I am kind of, because I'm reaching towards the end of the build now, but I'm kind of like, oh, I've used this object so many times. I don't want it to be too repetitive. So the rooms, I want to say this one apartment, which is really quick for you, was like long for me. I think it took me 2.5 hours to decorate the apartment. And then the other one took me, I remember I went to go sleep at like 4 in the morning after decorating that apartment. It took a really long time, because at this point, like I said, the objects were becoming very repetitive, especially in terms of the pipes and the other industrial things that I was adding to the walls. Those things were, I was just using them all the time. And then I moved that pipe and those decorations on that side, because I actually forgot the bathroom is there. So I had to put the door there, basically. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to get into the bathroom. That is probably something that I need to do, because I made that error in my last build as well. I forgot that there were certain archways that I wanted to place. And because I didn't place them, I forgot the rooms were there. And so I started decorating the room, and then basically I had to redecorate it, because I realized, oh, I had built in front of the doors and the archways and stuff. So I probably should place my doors down when I'm building, the layout and stuff like that, so that I do not forget. And then I wanted to create this really techy computer area. I did have some inspiration for what I wanted to do inside the apartment. And when I was doing this, I felt like it was not conveying what I wanted it to convey. But then, like I said, when I went in and I took the screenshots and I got to see it from that perspective, and also at night in the dark with all of the lights, it does convey what I wanted it to convey. It looks so good in here. If I could, I probably would stay in an apartment like this, but doesn't really fit the aesthetic of my home. And I don't know if I could ever, decorate my home in this way. But in another life, I think I would live in this kind of apartment. And then I just placed these bookshelves up here from the Book Nook kit, and then decorated that with a few bits and bobs. I think maybe a girl or a younger female sim lives here, just because of how I decorated the space. But you can obviously just change the colors of a few things, change the decorations, and then have, like a bachelor living here or whatever, so that it fits more of that aesthetic. And then for the bathroom, I used a lot of the bathroom stuff from City Living, because City Living kind of has that techie bathroom things. So I used that, like that toilet, and I think you can actually talk to that toilet and whatever and become friends with it. And so I used that. And then the shower shelf thingy that you saw me place in the shower, that's from Bathroom Clutter. And then the towels at the bottom is from Bathroom Clutter as well. And then this is my new favorite shelf to use. So this one is from the Cozy Kitsch kit. And then just placed a few things, bathroom things there from the Bathroom Clutter kit on that as well. But that really is all for this apartment. So we're moving on to the second bigger apartment. And oh my goodness, I am so happy with how this turned out. Now, you saw me there, just because it went so quickly, place down the ceiling paint. But that I changed it. So in the floors category, there's this metal grid that you can use, and I used that for the ceiling instead, because with the cyberpunk theme, I just felt like the metal grid ceilings fit better. You would see I kind of placed that everywhere. I placed that ceiling in the gym, in the other apartment, And then, oh no, in the other apartment, I placed a different kind of metal ceiling just to bring in that kind of elements or design elements for this cyberpunk theme into the build. And then there's this one ceiling that I never ever use, and I think it's meant for a basement, but it looks like there's like wires and cords and copper on the top. I actually used that in the bar or in the nightclub, and it turned out really good. I probably would never have any other use for that again, so this was the perfect bowl to kind of experiment with that kind of ceiling paint, which I would probably never really use again, like I said. And then for the couch area, I used the couches from Dream Home Decorator. I can't remember where this rug is from, but I have never ever used this fish tank coffee table, and I was going to use it in the smaller apartment, but it's so big and around, so I felt like okay, it was going to fit in this, so I kind of built this living room around this fish tank table. And I guess this family or whoever stays here loves fishes, because I'm going to create like a custom fish tank soon, or like a built-in fish tank soon, which you'll see me do now, and I'll explain when that comes up. So I, yeah, I kind of built it around the fishies in this apartment. And then I also wanted to include a computer or desk area here, because like I said, this is really for someone who is very techy, or yeah, just like futuristic. That's who I feel like would live here. I wouldn't say necessarily that this is like a cyberpunk themed apartment, just because it is, compared to the inspiration that I was using, I feel like this one is a bit nicer than what you would usually find in cyberpunk. So maybe it can be like a more modern, I don't know, chic version of cyberpunk. But I did try and bring in some of those elements, like the paintings and the stuff on the walls, the pipes on the walls, into this apartment as well. Just a little bit less than you saw me do in every other part of this build, just because like I said, at this point I use that pipes everywhere and so many times, so that's why I used it a little bit less here. And then I placed down the City Living paintings, and those lights on the side are also from City Living. As you can see, I changed them to the purple color. Then the painting at the back with the woman is from Love Struck, I think, yes. And then now I'm creating that fish tank that I was speaking about. So what I did was I just drew a 2-tile room. And then before you do this, you actually want to go in, purchase a fish tank in build mode, go into live mode, and then fill or stock that fish tank with full fish, or whatever, in whichever way you want to stock it. So you stock the fish tank, you then build the 2-tile room, and then you raise up the platform by like 2 ticks. So there you would have seen a transition. That was when I stocked the fish tank. Then you want to size down the fish tank, right, and place it in that platform so that you can't actually see the fish tank. And that's why you need to actually stock it before you place it in here, because you wouldn't be able to then do it. And yeah, then place the fish tank in. Now when I went in, and that's like it really, I just decorated it with a few other plants and stuff from the Island Living pack. And yeah, so that was the fish tank. But when I went in and I took my screenshots, I feel like there wasn't enough fish, so I took a different fish tank, did the same thing, and fully stocked it this time. I don't think I fully stocked that fish tank, and so they are now very pretty different color fish in that fish tank. So yes, that's what I finished up with in that living room. Or I actually used a chessboard to finish it up with just 2 chairs. I wasn't sure what else to place in that corner. I was gonna place a piano initially, but I just felt like the fish tank situation was a little bit better. And then here I just had this really open space at the back, so I just made a small reading nook over here. And then here I decided to kind of rotate the pipes with the tool mod so that it looked a bit different from the one that I've been using all the time. And then I placed down a painting as well from City Living. And then now we are doing the kitchen. Like I said, I just did a black kitchen again. So for this one, in the other one I used all Home Chef counters and then cabinets. And then in this one I used the counters from the base game, and then the Home Chef Hustle cabinets. I only use the Home Chef Hustle one because they have the lights in them, and I hope that we will like get more counters like that in the future. But I really like the ones from Home Chef Hustle. I wish there was like a different color that I could have used, but the black one looked the best in these apartments, and that's why I chose to use them in both. And then I just used the fridge from Ravenwood, and then the stove I think is from Dream Home Decorator. Currently I have the pink there, and I'm not sure if I eventually change that or whatever. But yeah, that is really all for the kitchen. I used again kitchen or the kitchen stuff thingy to decorate that part of the build. And then here for the dining room, I think these chairs are from high school years. I just thought they were kind of cute, and the colors matched with the colors in the living room, and so I decided to use that over here. And then I came back in and I placed these vents down from Industrial Loft Kit. I feel like they fit the aesthetic of the build a lot, so I use them really in every part of this build. I think I do go back and place it in the gym. I'm just not sure if I included that in the recording, because at that point I had moved on from the gym. The gym was something of the past. And so now we are on the second floor. I didn't include the decorating of the hallway here. I just placed a few paintings and then a couch in there. I think you will kind of catch a glimpse of it, but that will also be in the screenshots at the end. And then here in this bathroom we have the bath is from, I think, Life and Death. And then the rug, that one is from High School Years. And the plant back there is Businesses and Hobbies. And that standing towel rack is from Sleek Bathroom. So I just decided to place down these counters again from Home Chef Hustle. And then the sink, I can't remember where that sink is from. I think it may be the one from Snowy Escape. And then I used the mirror from Spa Day, and also the toilet again from the City Living expansion pack. Now, this bathroom is very open, but I really did like the open look of it. Obviously, I don't think it would bother the Sims at all, so I kept it that way. I didn't really put up any curtains or anything like that. But I don't know, if you care about those things, I guess you can place down curtains or whatever. I just felt like it would take away from the way this bathroom looked, and it just the windows or this new glass wall paneling that we got kind of adds to the futuristic element or futuristic design that I was going for. That's what it looked like to me. I don't know if it actually looks that way, but to me it looks like that. And when I changed the lights later on, it looked even better. So that's why I kept it that way and did not place down any curtains. And then here we are in the kind of guest room or whoever stays with the Sim. I didn't really have anyone in mind when I was decorating this room. I was kind of just like going with the flow or wherever I felt like it was taking me. So I used this base game bed that we got with an update, and then base game side tables. I think those are from the base game, or they may be from City Living. And then those lights, I don't know where they are from, but I then changed the reason why they look so purple. I changed the light to purple in there. Then I used a few of these lights from High School Years, and I think the poster there is from High School Years or maybe from Discover University. That dresser is definitely from High School Years. And then the starlight, I think that maybe Get Famous. Yeah, I'm not sure, but yes, I just decorated it up with a few bits and bobs from High School Years as well, and then placed that plant on that table, which is from the Pastel Pop kit. And then I found this panda with the umbrella, and I thought it looked really cute, so I decided to place that as well. But I really like the purple in this cactus that I had, so I decided to make space for the both of them on there, and then just place down one of the books that face down, the facing down book that we got with Comfy Gamer. And then in that corner over there I placed the mirror from High School Years, and then these two, they look like beanbag chairs, poofs. They don't look like regular couches, but we got that with the future update, or not update, event that we had, the Back to the Future event, I think it was called, which came before Life and Death. So yeah, that's where those are from, and I really wanted to use them here, so I thought, you know, why not place them there. And I also placed them down in that reading nook thingy as well. And then here for the main bedroom, or I would say this is the main bedroom just because it's bigger. And so I just placed the painting at the back from high school, no, from City Living. The bed I think is from City Living as well. The rug I cannot remember, but I went with pink, black and blue in this bedroom. And then yeah, I didn't want to add another bathroom. There's already so many objects on this lot, and so I decided to have a loft kind of situation here as well. And so that's what you saw me do. Now I placed down a fence, and then I kind of cut out that top section over there. And then here I'm just decorating again with pipes. And then that black thing that you saw me place there, that is from For Rent. And then to create the light at the back, I just placed the mirror from Get Famous. It has this really bright light at the back of them. And then I placed down shelves at the bottom. Those are from Mom Chef Hustle, and I just decorate those shelves. And then here I'm just creating a small dressing or rail cupboard area situation for the person who lives in here. And so I just use the clothes from high school years. The other ones are from businesses and hobbies, and I can't remember where the railing is from, but it's either high school years or businesses and hobbies. And then here again I'm placing down the vents from the industrial loft kit. And just I was gonna go like around, which may have been a bit much, but I do decide not to do that, as you can see, and I backtrack and I just place it around there. And then I created a different part, I think. But yes, that is really all for this build. This build was such a big one. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed decorating it so much, but I'm gonna make my finishing touches. However, I'm gonna end the voice over here. You can find this build under SimWithMishka in the gallery, or hashtag SimWithMishka. If you have any other ideas, please consider popping those in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking this video. And I thank you so much for being here, and I'll chat to you in the next one. Bye bye.